Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. We have every sporting story in the world lined up this evening, and we will be looking at the opening ceremony of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games that will be coming up tonight. After 100 years, Olympics going back to France, and they want to make it a memorable one. When I saw some parts, watched the highlights of when they hosted the last 100 years ago. Wow, it was a fantastic one. And of course, and if you look at the Olympic Village, comfort, everything you need to make you as an athlete comfortable was there at the Olympic Village. And I just hope all the athletes coming to France want to leave at the end of the day. On the show this evening, I've got Wilfred Shando joining me again on Sports Update to look at all of these stories and others on the show.
Good evening once again, Mr. Fash. It's nice again being around you.
Okay, let's begin from the mixed martial art before we talk about the Paris opening ceremony tonight. This time around, we'll talk about another Nigerian actor who is doing so well when it comes to this sport. Camaru Usman believes he is still #1 act when it comes to the mixed martial art, that is the UFC. He said, I am still the world best. That is Camaru Usman, who actually he took a break from this particular sport, but now he's back. He wants to find his way back. That is former UFC welterweight champion Camaru Usman, saying he's one of the best fighters in the world, if not the best in his research, despite his recent undergone setback. And sincerely speaking, he's ranked #1 in the welterweight division. #1 in the welterweight division for Nigerian Camaru Usman.
He is indeed a very wonderful fighter. You know, he's done great. You know, he's written his name, you know, in the good books of the UFC. Incidentally, the octagon is mostly described by many as the devil, you know, den. So anything happens in the tick of an eye. So, you know, losing or winning, I mean, sometimes it's just a decision made within a sprint of a second. So he's wonderful. He's done well for himself, for the family, and for the entire Nigeria and Africa as a continent. So if he believes he's still #1, you know, in the game, no doubt he is, because he's done incredibly well, and everybody knows that.
Okay, he has done incredibly well. Everybody knows that for the Nigerian Nightmare. That is what he is called. The last fight he had, he lost to Kamzat Chimaev. That is his last fight, and that is his third consecutive defeat. After that fight, everybody thought it's over for Camaru Usman, but you know, that Nigerian spirit, never say die attitude. He's coming back, and he's gradually planning his way back with a very big fight.
You know what differentiates or distinguishes you know, the great from the ordinary is not just the qualities, but also the mindset. You know, even sometimes the great, you know, falls, but when they fall, they have to you know, rise up to their feet again. They have to walk again. So he's got the mindset of a real champion, and he feels, okay, yeah, I've lost the past, but I still got that which has made me, you know, who I am today in the UFC, you know, society, and the entire world knows me for what I do. So losing a fight doesn't mean that I'm off, you know, it's all over for me. No.
Okay, losing a fight doesn't mean that it's over for him. A lot of critics thought it was over for the Nigerian Nightmare Camaru Usman, but now he's still ranked #1 fighter in the welterweight division, and he believes he still remains #1, and no doubt about that with Camaru Usman. We just want to see him back. All right, we have Isaac Omidiji joining us on the show this morning or this evening from Bida. I beg your pardon. The city is a bit cold, so and in the studio here is a bit dark. So, but for Isaac Omidiji joining us on the show this evening, let's look at this particular story. Camaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare, say he remains world #1.
Yes, is it? Good evening, Emmanuel. Thank you for having me this beautiful evening. And I don't blame you. It's also cold here, so you can easily call it morning. Well, for Camaru Usman, this is someone who has been there for a long time. Not just being there, but they're making names for themselves. He has been winners of so many bouts. Unfortunately, he didn't have it rosy the last one he had, but that didn't define his game. And just as Josh mentioned, the difference between greats and others is the fact that when they fall, they still rise. So he is using his fall to serve as a means of motivation, and to have still declared himself as the number one in the world is a mindset that is coming to eat any other fighter is fighting, to eat him raw. So for Camaru, he has achieved a lot. The last mishap he had is not enough to define his career or to define his position in the world. Camaru Usman is still the undisputed number one in the UFC. And in that particular category, he is. His martial arts is made for this guy. He has demonstrated a lot of flexibility, a lot of heroic displays in his fight to show that he's not just there to make name, but to make name for not just Nigeria, Africa, and the world. So that's why he's still one best.
Okay, that's why he's still the number one fighter in the welterweight division. That is for Camaru Usman. The Nigerian Nightmare will have about a lot of them, himself and the style bender, that is Israel Adesanya, holding their own when it comes to UFC. The Octagon, when you go in there, they said it, they say it is the devil's den when you enter into the Octagon, and you know what it is when it comes to that particular sport. All right, moving ahead this evening, let's go straight to Kenya, where the team are back to the country, but a lot has been learned from this bilateral series event between Nigeria and Kenya. We're talking cricket now for the Yellow Greens of Nigeria. The head coach of the Yellow Greens of Nigeria, that is Tikolo by name. Yes, saying that's the senior men's team of Nigerian cricket team, the Yellow Greens as they are called. Steve Tikolo says the recently concluded bilateral series in Kenya is a learning curve for the team and for the country at large when it comes to cricket. Isaac, I will start with you on this one. They went to Kenya and they had series of games against the Kenyan team. They got some good wins. They also lost to Kenya, but it was a bilateral series just to expose this team to what it is. We know when you talk cricket, Kenya, South Africa, Zimbabwe, these are top countries in the sport.
Yes, you see, when you have bilateral relationship with an organization, a community, a country, or a federation, and better than you, there are lots for you to learn. And remember that cricket is not our game in Nigeria. It's just that particular game we are trying to see if we can make headway. And just as you mentioned, South Africa, Kenya, and the rest have demonstrated that cricket is what they can excel in, and they've excelled in it. So for Nigeria to have put this bilateral relationship, to have put this bilateral tournament, is a good one, because definitely it will strengthen the knowledge of the players, the knowledge of the coaches, as well as give them the necessary exposure to compete at the highest level, because you are playing against the best or one of the best. So Kenya served as one of the best opponents for Nigeria when it comes to cricket, and one of those we can look up to, considering the fact that they have excelled, they have advanced more than we have done. So for Nigeria, it's a new win for us, and for Kenya, we won some, we lost some. It's not about the number we have won, but the exposure we've gotten, the experience we've gathered, and the strength of our team and weaknesses we've more discovered.
Okay, the strength and weaknesses of our team. Talking cricket in this part of the world, Shando, we don't really this sport, but if we look at it, Nigeria is growing fast, doing all they can. Kudos, at least thumbs up to the Nigerian Cricket Federation, making sure that this sport becomes a household name, just like football and basketball.
Yeah, a journey of a million miles begins with one. You know, considering the fact that we're like, newborn babies into the game. You know, as far as the game of cricket is concerned, if you look at the likes of Kenya and South Africa, it was earlier mentioned by your guest over there. Sri Lanka, Australia, Bangladesh, and the rest. You know the Nigerians are. Nigeria coming to the game, they're like, newborn babies. So having that game, that experience with the Kenyans in Kenya, I think it's actually a very good one that they should be able to capitalize on the experience, what they gather, what they gain as knowledge, and then try to build something that's a nearer future. When they're talking about cricket, the name of Nigeria will also not be left out.
Okay, the name of Nigeria will not also be left out. We are fast growing in the ICC rankings, and that is what it is. Nigeria was dubbed last year the fastest country when growing in cricket as a sport. And we continue to move up the strides. Also, our yellow greens women are doing so well. For the under-19 boys and under-19 girls, they are also preparing for the under-19 World Cup qualifier. So cricket, in years to come, 2-3 years from now, we should also be talking cricket just the way we discuss football in Nigeria. All right, let's move away from that story and go back this evening. Let's go straight to France. The big one will be happening tonight. That is the opening ceremony of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Despite activities have started, starting with football and women's football. Also, rugby has started in Paris in the Olympic Games. But officially, the games will be open, officially the games will be open tonight. And the story is Nigerian to display rich cultural heritage in the opening ceremony. About 88 athletes, Isaac, will be on parade tonight in that opening ceremony. And we know that Toby Amuson will be the flag bearer, but the team captain is Okoyori, that is the badminton player. But we are going to be seeing 88 of them showcasing our rich cultural heritage right there at the opening ceremony tonight.
Manuel, if it is judging by opening ceremonies performances, I think Nigeria should be one of the best 3 in every Olympics we have qualified for or we've attended, because we've always displayed our rich cultural heritage. It's always been very beautiful to watch, very, very unique. Our dressing, our dance, our music, our drums, always very unique. The way we come to international stage, it just reminded me of Beyond Limit. Just a few weeks ago, when they went for a tournament, a traditional tournament, where they came third eventually. Look at their dressing for the opening ceremony. Look at the traditional agbada they put on and look so unique. That is Nigeria to the world for you. So let's go and sell that part of us. That is one part of us, again, that the world needs to know. They know, and we need to continue to let them know that we have cherished this cultural heritage and we are continuing to protect it. And we will continue to represent what we belong. I mean, what we represent. So for Toby, I'm very happy she'll be flag bearer. And for the badminton player who will be the captain of the wonderful. But she's our tag girl. Let me put it that way. She's a star girl of Nigeria when it comes to athletics now. So it's not a bad thing to see our star girl leading the parade. For the culture, what we see enough Nigeria today.
Yes, they will see enough Nigerian tonight. I think the fever of the Paris Olympic Games begins tonight because everybody really wants to see the opening ceremony. And for France, this is the very first time an opening ceremony of Olympic Games will not be in a stadium, particular venue, but this time around at the River Seine area in Paris. That is where the opening ceremony will be staged. And Nigeria will not be left out. What is your take?
Mr. Fash, I think as we speak right now this evening, the stage are already set. The ambience is already glittering with beautiful melodies of colorful ideas of different cultural heritage across the globe, and of course beautiful Nigerians not left out. But I mean, the display of rich cultural heritage from the Nigerians is not synonymous to the result we're expecting, so they shouldn't be carried away with that. They should be more concerned about what the Nigerians, 200 million Nigerians, are expecting them to come out with. And France is also a multi-cultural nation.
Yes, of
where
course.
Sometimes it's difficult to ask if these people are really the French or the Africans.
Of course.
So I think it's going to be a very wonderful experience. I think a few hours from now we're going to witness one of the most glamorous and eye-catching opening ceremony of
yes, of course, the most glamorous. The Olympics is one of the biggest events, if not the biggest event when it comes to sports in the world. Olympics is just like the FIFA World Cup, but this time around it's more than that. You have various sports in the Olympic Games. So we are going to be seeing tonight, just hours away from now, that opening ceremony will be up and running in the River Seine area in Paris, France, outside the main stadium where the opening ceremony was supposed to take place. And as we speak, feelers coming in from that place is that security have been beefed up Security-wise, everywhere is tight, and we just hope we are going to be seeing Nigerians showcasing our rich cultural heritage right there in Paris tonight, and I love it. I think on the show we will be bringing you some moments of that opening ceremony in our subsequent show, so that we can also have a feel of what it is, of what those athletes will be going through tonight when the opening ceremony starts. Officially, the games will be kicking off tonight, and then, like Wilfred Shiando said in the studio here, athletes should not be carried away with everything they'll be seeing tonight. They should have it. I love using this, I love saying this, not the back, but at the front of their mind, that yes, they are going in for business. We are not just coming to complete the numbers. Show them our culture, also show them what it means on the track, on the pitch, and wherever you find ourselves. We have our canoe team there. We also have our badminton player. We have our track, where we are actually expecting a lot to come, a lot of medals in that particular sport. All right, moving ahead, like I said, we'll be bringing you the highlights or moments of the opening ceremony in our subsequent show. All right, let's come back home, talk NPFL. Isaac Omidije, Enyimba will return to winning ways, coming in from Kano, a man who left the shores of the country, went to Poland, getting some good deals for Enyimba, at least for them to have this MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between Enyimba and some Polish clubs right there in Europe.
Yes, I hope the deal is not to transfer players alone. I hope the deal will bring in branding. The deal will bring in better management. The deal will take Enyimba to where they are supposed to. Enyimba is still languishing, and if you can see Enyimba has never achieved anything. What I mean languishing? Compared to what they've achieved in the early 2000s, you cannot compare that particular Enyimba spirit, Enyimba team, Enyimba management, and what's obtainable now. The fact is, you still don't have the kind of best players Enyimba paraded there in the early 2000s compared to now. So there are some beautiful players, good players, one or two in Enyimba currently, that has currently vision of the screen. It's one of those young players that I'm looking forward to that will take to his finals very soon. However, you have to go beyond that. What happens to Enyimba in the past? Enyimba were not motivated. Enyimba is like Man City or Real Madrid that signed the best players in the country. It's not like the case now. You even see best players from Enyimba moving to other clubs, even in Nigeria. So we need to do a lot if Enyimba will come back. So it's not about signing memorandum of understanding. I hope the memorandum of understanding is to improve value, bring in more money for them, and then for player transfers. So if Enyimba must go back to his past glory and a lost glory, a lot must be done in terms of remuneration. The stadium must be put in shape. Enyimba said that on that good for international football, if you are asking, and that is not the standard of Enyimba. So let's see an Enyimba team that will go to the North African club sites and pitch them in their own side as they've done in the early 2000s.
Yes. Okay, that is when you believe that Enyimba is back to winning ways. Wilfred, I don't know if you have the Kanu Nwankwo is actually doing all he can to see that Enyimba becomes go back to where they used to be, because Enyimba used to give Nigeria a good representation on the continent of Africa, but over the years they are lying just like a sleepy dog.
Kanu Nwankwo is a household name in the sport, during his heydays as a player, and I really hope he's able to, transfer that, personality into administration, and that he's appointed as the chairman of Enyimba Football Club, because Enyimba is also a very, strong and a respected team in the continent, considering how they were, way back early 2000s, the glory and everything. But the current Enyimba we witness today is just a mere shadow of its glorious days.
Yes, of course.
So that has to be revived, and if that must be revived, a lot, you have to be put in place. We've seen just the same way the analysts mentioned earlier. We've seen players leaving Enyimba for even smaller teams, so we wonder, is this the Enyimba that we all used to know, or this is a different Enyimba? So Kano has to sit down and put his hands around the clock to ensure that every single lost glory in the team is brought back to life, is revived. So going to Poland to sign a memorandum of understanding is not something. It's not new. I mean, we'll be hearing, things like that. These are visible documents, and sometimes nobody gets to see. But let's see the physical. Let's see, the transformation into the physical aspect of the game, the facilities, the standard. There should be more, coordination and more professionalism in the team, and to ensure that the team has a blueprint that everybody will look at and say, wow, this is the Enyimba that we all used to know.
Okay, this is Enyimba we all used to know. Kanwankwa is actually doing all he can. He's on the European tour, getting in contact with some of these big teams in Europe, Poland and other countries before coming back. They want to see what they can actually achieve, that understanding between Enyimba and some of these European teams. He's going to be exporting of players and also getting some in terms of facilities and what have you is all of what it's all about. All right, moving ahead, still talking NPFL. This time around, we'll talk about the youthful side of the Nigerian Premier Football League, where about 30 players are in camp in Abuja, preparing themselves to go to Spain for a training tour. But the coaches of the NPFL Youth Under 17 team is talking top, and he's saying we will make Nigeria proud in Spain. Isaac, this team will be leaving the shores of the country for a training tour in Spain. About 6 players was picked from Rangers International. Let's not forget that Rivers United won the NPFL Youth Under 17 league. And now the players will be leaving the country for a training tour in Spain. But the coach is saying, yes, we'll make Nigeria proud in Spain.
Well, it's a training tour. It's not a competition and not a trophy training tour. It's to expose them, and I hope that they will give a good account of themselves. We still need to strengthen the under 17 of our league or club sides. How many of these club sides are running real under 17 teams? How many of them have a functional under 17 team? Most of the feeder teams we call feeder teams in NPFL, the players are as old as the players playing in the main team. So let us ensure that we have real under 17 team for all NPFL clubs. This can be an avenue for us to pick players, not just academy. They should learn from what is happening in Kenya, Ogun State, from Remo Stars, and from Sporting Lagos, and others that are running good academy with young players that can fit into age grade competitions. So I hope it will be functional. I hope they will get the necessary exposure they needed in the training tour, and I hope that they will be able to bring back something that will be beneficial to the under 17 league in Nigeria.
Okay, this is your area of specialization, Shiando. Talking about youth, when it comes to youth, bringing from the grassroots. Now we are seeing a team that is preparing themselves to go to Spain. It's a training tour, but they will be involved in a lot of competition in Spain. What's your take?
It's a very good one. It's a very good developmental, scheme, and I hope it's sustainable and is beneficial to the young lads. The thing is, well, are they really the under 17? And if they are, of course, it's a good one for them. It's a learning avenue for them to gain more experience, to be exposed to better facilities, better lifestyle in the game, and then build a career from what they are exposed to.
Okay, build a career from what they are exposed to. I fear that is where we'll be leaving it on the program this evening. We would have bring in some transfer story, but tonight the opening ceremony for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Just hours from now, that event will be up and running, and we'll be seeing 88 athletes of Nigeria showcasing our rich cultural heritage to the world, and we'll bring you the highlights of those moments on our subsequent shows and other stories, results that will be happening in Paris Olympic Games. For the Super Falcons, yesterday evening they lost their game to Brazil, and we hope they do well in their next game against Spain. All right, Isaac Omidiji, thanks for joining me this evening. It's a good one having you on the show, and to you, Wilfred Shando, good one having you around on Sports Update.
Thank you, Mr. Fashion. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Say thanks for watching.